The Hebrew calendar is calibrated to go back to when we think God created the world. So, so that number 5,773 is by tradition going back to the 7 days of creation.
So when did Judaism technically begin?
Well, it's hard to say because first you have to define what Judaism is, and you have to define when it began. A lot of people would say Judaism began when the Israelites stood at Mount Sinai. If that's your definition, then it probably began about 2200 BCE. Then some people could say it began when King David built the temple. King David came to Jerusalem. That was about 1000 BCE. Some people might say it's when King David's son, King Solomon, built the temple. That was a few years later, say 960 BCE. It's a divine dictatorship. It's a, God is ruler, but God is a benevolent ruler. God is a ruler who loves the people that He's created. God is a ruler that wants peace among them. And so when we all accept God's sovereignty, then you could, it's not necessarily democracy, the way that monotheism works, but it is a system that at its best can bring peace and harmony to the world. You've probably heard the expression, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. We don't agree on much as a Jewish people, and one of the topics on which there's the most diversity of thought is the nature of God. Does God manipulate human events? We disagree on that. Does God even care what people do? We disagree on that. Does God make the sun rise and the sun set each evening? Or did God set these objects in motion for them to take care of themselves for millennia to come? We disagree on that. So you're not going to find a single unified theology about what is God's role in the world. I think probably the most important symbol in Judaism is the menorah. Now, I don't want to confuse this with the Hanukkah menorah that has 8 branches and usually then a 9th little place for the candle. To me, one of the most important symbols is the menorah, which has 7 branches, because it's first introduced in the Torah in the book of Exodus, and it was lit first in the tabernacle, which was the early space for worship, and then later in the temple. And the idea that we have a symbol that gives off light, I think it's a really powerful symbol for the Jewish people. And that has since become the symbol for the state of Israel. And it's something that I think every Jewish person can resonate with.